XRP hitting $1,000 still sounds like a fantasy to you, then you haven't been paying attention, because what's happening behind the scenes isn't speculation. It's a coordinated shift in global finance. While the world watches charts, the infrastructure of a new monetary system is quietly being locked into place. And XRP is right at the center of it. This isn't hype. This is the blueprint. The floodgates are about to open. And if you miss this window, you may never get another one. So stay with me, because once you see the full picture, you won't look at XRP the same way again. My name is Artificial Alina, and you are watching AlinaX. Let's dive deep. If you still believe XRP can't reach 1,000, then chances are you're already priced out of the future. That might sound outrageous at first, but it's not just hype. This isn't fantasy, it's not a dream. It's math, it's market mechanics, and it's macroeconomic forces aligning in a way the world has never seen before. So let's break it all down, piece by piece, and walk through the biggest monetary reset in human history. Because right at the heart of it, quietly yet powerfully, sits XRP. Let's start where the problem began, with the dollar. Since 1971, after the US went off the gold standard, the dollar has been in steady decline, quietly, insidiously, and constantly losing value. Today, it has lost over 96% of its purchasing power. Just think about that. What you could buy with $1 in 1971 now takes over $25. And yet, the dollar is still considered the world's reserve currency. But that title comes with baggage and a ticking clock. At the same time, the United States now carries over $34 trillion in national debt, and that number isn't going down. It's climbing fast. The annual interest payments alone have already crossed $1 trillion. That's just to service the debt, not reduce it. So how does a system like this survive? It doesn't, unless it keeps printing more and more money. But every new dollar printed makes each existing dollar worth just a little bit less. And that's inflation. That's why everything from groceries to rent feels more expensive. Because it actually is when measured against a weakening dollar. And here's the key. As inflation creeps in and dollars lose their power, asset prices must rise just to keep pace. Real assets, like property, stocks, and commodities, begin to reprice themselves not based on their own value, but based on the weakening value of the money measuring them. And in that process, a window opens. A window for digital assets to step in and play a completely new role. Now enter tokenization. This is the quiet but massive transformation already underway. Institutions like BlackRock, Citi, HSBC, and JP Morgan aren't just experimenting anymore. They're going all in on tokenizing real-world assets, from equities to bonds to private funds and more. By some estimates, tokenized asset markets will reach between 16 to 30 trillion by 2030. This isn't a theory. This is where the financial world is going. And here's the question. How do you move all those tokenized assets? How do you settle them globally, instantly, and compliantly? That's the exact challenge XRP was engineered to solve. Unlike most cryptocurrencies, XRP isn't just a speculative coin. It's a liquidity layer. It's a bridge. It's a piece of infrastructure. In a tokenized financial future, you don't just need a store of value. You need fast, seamless cross-border settlement. That's what XRP was built for. And that's what it already does. Not in theory, but in practice. Let's talk about the scale. RippleNet already connects over 300 financial institutions, including banks, payment providers, and other major players across the world. This isn't a test pilot, it's a working network. On top of that, Ripple's on-demand liquidity solution is now active on 6 continents. That means XRP is being used right now to settle cross-border payments in real time, with no need to pre-fund accounts. It's fast, it's scalable, and most importantly, it's liquid, and it doesn't stop there. Ripple recently introduced RLUSD, a fully regulated stablecoin that runs natively on the XRP ledger. But what makes RLUSD special isn't just its compliance, it's the fact that it has built-in programmability directly integrated into the XRP ecosystem. That means institutions can build complex payment flows, smart contracts, and financial services right on top of the network without friction. So let's pause for a second. When you combine RippleNet, on-demand liquidity, RLUSD, and Ripple's institutional-grade custody solutions, what are you really looking at? You're looking at a fully functioning financial ecosystem, quietly being built in parallel with the old one. This isn't some DeFi experiment. It's a full-scale, regulated, enterprise-grade liquidity and settlement network. Now, let's ask a deeper question. Why is XRP so different from other coins? Because XRP isn't just a digital token, it's a settlement asset. In the world of tokenization, everything becomes a digital asset that needs to be transferred, tracked, and settled. Stocks, bonds, carbon credits, central bank digital currencies, even your digital identity, all of them require a common layer of liquidity to interact globally. XRP is that layer. It offers atomic settlement, meaning it can complete a transfer instantly and irrevocably without needing trust between parties. It's interoperable. It can bridge assets across different blockchains and financial networks. It can handle micropayments, which opens up entire new markets. And on top of that, the XRP ledger itself includes a built-in decentralized exchange, time-locked escrows, and hooks, tiny pieces of logic that allow for conditional behavior right on-chain. That's a deep level of functionality most people haven't even begun to understand. Now comes the controversial part, the price. Let's talk about the $1,000 XRP question. Is it really possible? And if so, how? To answer that, you need to understand monetary velocity, not just market cap. Market cap is a lazy metric. Velocity tells you how often a unit of currency changes hands, and in a high-speed global settlement network, that number can be massive. So, let's do some simplified math. If XRP were to capture just 10% of the global foreign exchange market, which moves about $1.5 trillion daily, and another 10% of the tokenized real-world asset flows, plus just 5% of global debt market clearance, we're already talking about astronomical flows. Now apply even a conservative velocity multiplier, say 10, and suddenly a supply-constrained, deflationary XRP asset can mathematically support prices in the 4 to 5-figure range. And no, that's not hopium. That's math. This isn't about hype. It's not about dreams of Lamborghinis or moon missions. It's about architecture. It's about building global rails that institutions, banks, and governments can actually use. And XRP is one of the very few assets that is not only compliant but scalable and fast enough to do it. So the real question becomes, why is the world still sleeping on this? Maybe because this isn't something the media wants to push. Maybe because it challenges existing power structures. Or maybe because the setup is just too big to grasp all at once. But one thing is becoming more clear by the day: XRP isn't just a coin. It's not something you hold and hope. It's an infrastructure layer for the future of money itself. And that changes everything. Imagine a world where every asset is tokenized, not just currencies, but everything with value. Every transaction settles instantly. Cross-border payments become as easy as sending a text. Micropayments become viable for millions of use cases. And identity, compliance, and data integrity are all built into the rails of value transfer. That's the world XRP is built to support. And it's not just coming, it's already starting. So what's the verdict? If you're still trying to price XRP based on hype, charts, or memes, then you're not seeing the bigger picture. This is about global systemic change. It's about providing the rails for an entirely new financial infrastructure. And that's why the $1,000 conversation isn't crazy at all. What's crazy is ignoring the setup that's already unfolding. You can choose to see XRP as a coin that hasn't pumped in a while, or you can choose to understand it as the foundational layer of a new financial order, one that's being built piece by piece, corridor by corridor, use case by use case, while the world is distracted by headlines. So here's the final question. Will you be ready before the market is? Because the infrastructure is already in place. The math supports it. The macroeconomic conditions demand it, and the institutions are already here. You just have to open your eyes and see what's right in front of you. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this breakdown as eye-opening as I did, smash that thumbs up right now. Don't miss out on our exclusive, never-before-seen insights. Subscribe immediately to join our inner circle at AlinaX and stay ahead with every breaking update. I want to hear your thoughts, questions, and theories, so drop a comment below. Every single one will be read and replied to. Act fast, be part of this revolution, and let's redefine the future together.